So I do two things. I started the recording now, which I record
Mm-hmm.
locally on my computer, so I can make this available to you, but it will also record on Facebook as we go live. So I'm just double. So, okay, so go live on Facebook. It takes like a minute or two to connect up.
Okay. Okay.
So the first thing it does, it brings me a little screen. It says go live on Facebook in a little window, and then you've got to choose where you want to go live on your timeline on a page. Okay, so I want to go on the group, and then I've got to select the group. There we go. I select the group, click next, and then it just gives the title. So what will we title it? Motivation and learning? Learning motivation?
Motivation and learning. That's a good title, yeah.
All right.
We can keep it simple, so.
Yeah. So it's loading now still.
Great.
Yeah, it's just a little slow to actually get started, but that's good. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Choose how you want to start. Use stream key. Oh, this is new now. Oh, bunch of new options here. Wow.
Do I need to do anything on my side, or is just?
No, nothing. No, nothing.
Okay. Good.
I've never seen this before. So, all right. Well, are we live? Okay. So title. Oh, gee. All right. Motivation and learning. Okay. All right. So yes, all sorts of interesting stuff here that I'm not sure what difference it makes. I'll have to research this a little bit. It gives a link. I guess I could schedule it and all that. So stream keys. I don't know. All right. Well, anyway, but it is a little button that says go live. So
Okay.
Audio actions. All right. Here we go. Go live. It says setting up your meeting for Facebook. So if you have Facebook open, because we do want to see that, just be sure to mute yourself on Facebook when the live window pops up. Otherwise, you're going to get that feedback sound.
Because I will just log out from Facebook. I don't.
No, it's useful to stay on Facebook. Just be sure when you see the video come, where we are live on Facebook, it'll be a little bit delayed. That you mute yourself on Facebook. That's all, because yeah.
So I guess you are live now because I just got a notification.
Yeah.
So well, we can start, I guess. Right?
Yes.
So this is one.
We are live.
Yes. We are live. Yeah. Right. And this is the first one out of many more to come, I'd say, of these live Facebook sessions where we want to tackle topics around self-awareness, self-discovery, self-development, right? Yeah. And we have chosen for today something that really it's at the core of this subject, this journey of self-development, and we are planning to tackle a bit the motivation bit of this entire path, right? But before getting to deep dive into this subject today, perhaps you can tell us a little bit about yourself. I know that you are a life coach. I know that you are a consultant. You also are managing this awesome group on Facebook that has around 40,000 people now, right?
Yes.
And I'm sure that many of your fellow colleagues in this group got to know you and interact with you, but some of them are starting now, right? To get to know you a little bit. So perhaps you can tell us for how long have you been in this self-discovery, self-development journey, and how did you decide to begin?
That's a good question, Daniela. I've been in it since I've been 10 years old, very specifically, very deliberate. And it started the day the light bulb exploded. And that was literal. Well, of course, figurative also. But I used to cut strips of rubber from the inner tubes of tires. Many people don't remember that anymore because they don't use those anymore. But anyway, it was a rubbery elastic, and I used to curl it over my fingers and shoot things. And I was very accurate. I could shoot a fly. I could put very, very accurate. So there was a fly sitting on the light bulb in the hallway one day, and I shot at the fly, but I missed ever so slightly, and I hit the light bulb, and the light bulb exploded. So I was like, I was really, but put out with it. I was a bit upset, and my mother came and she saw me being upset, and she thought it was because I'd broken the light bulb. Now I didn't care to break the light bulb, but I was upset because I'd missed. So, she said, "Oh, it's okay. Don't worry about it." I said, "No, but it's because I missed the fly." So she said, "Oh, well, we can't all be perfect." And in that moment, when she said that, I realized that she didn't really think through what she said. But I thought to myself, well, why not? And this led me to think about what perfection is. And I did a whole study on it. I went and asked people what they think, and I kind of figured it out. But the end result of that was it led to me focusing on awareness specifically. And again, defining what awareness is, thinking it through to the end. What's the difference between when you're narrow and focused, and all of the stuff. So then I really started investigating, and through that investigation and practice and application, I was horrified to really become aware of how unaware I was, because I saw and I looked around myself like at school, and I said, well, I'm not a stupid person. I wasn't egotistical either. It was just realistic. I said, but even so, still I'm doing stuff that is just foolish. Why? And I said, it was because I'm unaware. And then I started on this journey. I was absolutely horrified at my unawareness, and well, it's never left me really. I'm still, it's like, seriously, so this is, and then of course things develop from there. And particularly as I pursued the study of others, even all the while that I was at school, I made a real effort to know people, know what goes on inside them, because the more you know others, the more you know yourself. So it just continued from there and built up, and then it just got more and more sophisticated as I went along. So it's a long story, but that's the short version. You asked where it started, so that's how it started.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I really love what you said. The more we know others, the more we know ourselves. That's so true, right? Yeah. So 10 years, it's a long time, right? And maybe related to our
old, not 10 years ago.
Wow.
From when I was 10 years old.
from 10 years old. Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
It's a lifetime. It's a
It's a
lifetime.
lifetime. Yes. Yes. I mean, I'm very happy that you think I'm 20 years old, but you know, I have to be honest.
Appreciate that. So, surely you have a lot of things that you can share with us from this complex and wonderful journey that you've done so far. But I would like to stick with the subject of today's discussion, motivation, right? And
Yes.
as the name suggests, motivation is what moves us, is
Yes.
what
Yes.
is the reason we do anything at all, right? So why do you do what you do? What inspires you? What motivates you? What precisely can you share from your personal experience with the group?
Wow.
What moves you?
On that day, yes, I was a little put out that I'd missed. And my mother's comment that we cannot be perfect, it also annoyed me because it was an ignorant comment. And I knew that she hadn't really thought about it. She didn't actually have an idea, even a conception of what a perfect could mean. And yes, as I then, you know, I didn't just take my idea. I said, when I said, why not? I attempted to answer that question. So I went and asked different people, what do you think perfection is? And they said, well, perfection is boring. And I'm like, hello, seriously? You know, uh, uh, it wouldn't be perfect if it was boring. It's just complete mindlessness, right? And you know, some of them were older boys, so I had to be careful because a lot of bullying was there. So you know, they didn't care that they'd said something so thoughtlessly that was just obviously ridiculous. And you know, of course, the majority opinion was, "Oh, perfection is impossible." So I thought about this. I said, well, if you really think about perfection, go through it to the end. I got to my understanding on definition of perfection, and to me, perfection is a state of being from which, if you had the power to change anything at all, you would not. So to me, then perfection became something that was attainable. It's simply a state where, hey, I'm happy with the way things are. And even if I could change it, I wouldn't change anything. And I thought this was an attainable ideal. And that then became my motivation. So in that language, though, that's, you know, I focused on it in that way. But I hesitate to use the word perfection because it's a very loaded term and most don't think of perfection that way. They still think of it as unattainable or limited in some way. So I would rather say motivation was to just move into moreness, which is a term I use a lot. You look at my post,
Okay.
talk about more or moreness, and that's it. I'm just motivated to move into moreness, not necessarily to be more, but to be move into moreness or to be aware of moreness, because when you move into moreness, you have more options, and the more options you have, the more choices you can make, and the more you can get to be and enjoy and see the magic and the wonder and the awesomeness of the world. So it's developed from there. Obviously, you live in attunement, which is really a potent thing. Now you are truly maximizing. And when you get down to the bottom line, the motivation is, in the end, best use of your energy. What are you doing with your energy on a daily basis? What are you spending your energy on? Does it actually give you a return on investment, or are you just spending your energy? So when you look at investing your energy, this becomes a whole different thing. And awareness, particularly, is the key to all of this. If you're not aware that things that you can choose, for instance, wow, your life is really going to be a struggle. But when you do become aware that you can choose different things. And you go a little further than that, you become aware of how the world works and how it makes sense. You become aware it's all about learning, and the whole world revolves around learning and the generation and the enhancement and development of awareness. Suddenly life becomes magical and awesome, and more, and more piles onto more, and you just start living a different life in a different world. So this is my motivation, because it's just getting more out of life. It's pretty simple, really.
That sounds really magical, really
It is.
awesome. Yeah.
It
But
is.
Mm. Yeah, it is. It is when someone gets to that point of being, you can really enjoy it. But for
Well,
someone,
to just add on to that point, this journey, it is a journey where the journey itself is the joy. It's not so much
yeah,
getting to a point. Because once the moment, like from that moment that I started to say, yes, I want to expand my awareness, I wish to be more aware. It wasn't necessarily to become aware, it's just to be more aware. It's a different logic. In our, especially today, there's this understanding that we need to do stuff, and suddenly we're going to become aware, like you'll become awakened or enlightened, and you'll be awake. It's a process, always. No matter, you always become aware, and then there's a bit more awareness and a bit more awareness. So you never get to an end point, at least as far as I can see. Maybe some point you enlighten and know everything that's possible, but it doesn't mean that I cannot enjoy my journey now. So all the time through this journey, the exploration of awareness and self-improvement in general, and of course self-discovery, hence the name of the group, all of these are magical and joyful. It doesn't matter where you are. And I don't really regard things as levels or no, it makes no difference. Each journey is absolutely individual. And there's no reason for the journey not to be delicious and precious and exciting and wonderful and marvelous for each and every one of us. So in you know, especially when in the participants of the programs and courses that I run, it's so for everyone. Makes no difference where they are. And we don't even look at where you are. It's you, what's up with you, your awareness, what you're doing. That's it. And it's always fantastic. It's always fantastic. To expand our awareness is always the joy and the magic. To increase our choices, this is power. This is something fantastic. To live deliberately, this is especially awesome, because now suddenly we start to add purpose and meaning and significance to what we do. No, it's a big deal. It's a very, very, very big deal. Simple, but a big deal.
that's the paradox, right? It's simple but a big deal in the same time, right?
Exactly,
And
exactly, exactly. And that point right there is something that
mm,
really sits deeply for me. I truly, truly, truly live with the profound. Every day I see the profound. And this one simple awareness that has helped me inordinately is this awareness and understanding that the profound can also be the simple. And actually, mostly the profound is simple. Yes, sometimes it can be complex, but
mhm.
inevitably the profound, for the most part, is very, very simple. And when we click onto this and we don't expect the profound to be complicated and complex, that's a huge shift, because then you can see the profound all around you, and simple,
Yeah.
simple things you wouldn't give a second thought to. Wow, that's not just profound, but life changing. And I really focus and emphasize those. It's a massively big deal. And I see it when we, with the
Mm.
participants too. It's like, did you realize what you just said? And they're like, and then they're like, when they start to really think about it, say, you realize what you just said is life changing. Yeah, yeah. And then they see the profound. Yeah. And that's really, really huge. You'll be astonished at how much, is so simple and so profound. It's very, very, very cool. Look at what we're doing
Yeah.
now. We're talking about
Mm.
motivation.
Mm.
Motivation
Yeah.
is ridiculously profound. Ridiculously
Yes.
profound. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Yes. Yes. It is.
yeah. So let's connect
So, mhm.
motivation here and connect
So
motivation to awareness.
how can we tap into this profound feeling of feeling motivated?
Ah, yes.
How can we do that? How can we do that from a practical point of view? If you
Connected
can
to
share your
awareness.
perspective. Mm.
Connect motivation to awareness. When we see being aware, becoming more aware, it's not necessarily like a state of being. I'm unaware and suddenly I click and things. No, it's always that we become slightly more aware. That's it. Always. Same
Mm.
logic, right? So when the development My alarms are going off here. The development and enhancement of awareness. If we see this as our motivation, then we are very easily motivated. Why? Why is awareness so precious, so motivating? Because think of anything that in the world that causes trouble, that's bad, that's evil, whatever. Look at it really closely and look at the what caused it to happen and say what came before that, what came before that, where's the start, where's the origin? Always unawareness. Yeah. Now take your own life and look at the things that you struggled with that caused you problem, that are still causing you problems. Always unawareness. They say, well, okay, money, I need money. Well, typically you need money because you don't have enough awareness of how to make it. It's very simple. You want a better job. Well, go and get more training, learn more, be more aware of what involves to get. Everything revolves around. Take your relationships, right? You had a relationship, didn't work out. Why? A lack of awareness, typically. Yes. I mean, you could say, well, we weren't compatible. Well, if you were more aware, you would have a better awareness of what is compatible with you, and you'd have a better relationship. You'd be more tolerant, you'd be more thoughtful, you'd be more considerate, you'd be more loving. All the stuff comes from awareness. You'd be more appreciative, especially if you look, I prefer appreciation to gratitude, just a term, but still, the internet's full of gratitude, be grateful. This comes from awareness, to appreciate life, to appreciate just the inordinate, exquisite, incredible, fantasticness of life, just how it works and how everything revolves around awareness. This comes from, first of all, having an awareness, to be able to be more aware, to appreciate. You can't appreciate without awareness. So awareness directly enhances our life in everyday simple little things. I'll give an exact example. Energy. I spoke about energy management, using our energy to best effect. How much energy do we waste on absolute nonsense? And why do we do that? Lack of awareness. Yeah. So it all connects together. You want to be happier? Look, when you wake up and you're full of energy for the day, you're really happy and joyful. When you've got lots of energy, it's very difficult to be annoyed and irritated and bothered when you're super full of energy, right? So there's a direct correlation between energy and happiness and joy. Direct correlation. So this motivation to be more aware lets us use our energy more efficiently, lets us not waste our energy, which makes us more happy. It not just makes us happier, but it makes us more effective, more efficient. Everything. It makes us more in terms of our inner self. When we have more awareness, we don't act against ourselves, as in contradicting our own conscience. This is a really big deal. Talk about a massive, massive, massive energy drain, guilt and shame. Incredible. It causes people to be unhappy. Yes. Why? Again, you did something out of lack of awareness. You didn't know better, or you chose poorly, and now you suffer the consequences. So really having awareness connects directly to your integrity, and you can live more fully, more directly, more appreciatively. Now, there are ways to deal with guilt and shame. If you have done something really terrible, it doesn't mean it's the end of your life, but that's a different topic. You can really change completely and be a different person, and then you can let go of the guilt and shame. That's a big deal, and what I do, Way of Impeccability, it is such a complete life change for those that, not everybody, of course, but there are some that were dealing with that, and they became new people. So they were able to unhook from the past. Yeah, that's very powerful. So awareness, again, awareness. It all revolves awareness, energy, the two together. It's really magical. Very cool. But it's very motivating because I can get more out of it. So we can really leverage this and use our innate, you can call it greed if you like, or self-interest, which it's there. It has to be. If you really want to live fully, you have to have some desire to do so. So motivation is directly connected to self-interest. Now, self-interest doesn't mean it's at the expense of others. On the contrary, the happier I am, the more I spread the virus of joy. Yes. And the less I spread the virus of negativity. These two viruses are way, way, way more potent than any other virus out there. COVID, doesn't matter what you think. Virus of negativity, virus of... So if I'm aware, I'm spreading these, right? Or not negativity, but I'm spreading positivity. So I just self-interest thus makes a difference in the world. When I ask for motivation, there you go. Awareness is an incredible motivation. You know, one thing that really motivates, a lot of people are motivated by doing good. Yes, big motivation for many people. I see it especially in the group. You know, this is a big deal. They want to help, they want to do good. But what happens if when you think you are doing good, you actually cause trouble for others?
Mm.
How often haven't you been in somebody in your life and they, you know, like when you were a child, say, yeah, but it's good for you. And you said, no, it's not. And they're trying to get you and pushing something on you and forcing you to do stuff. Yeah, but it's good for you. And you know, no, it's not. It's horrible. It's terrible. It's not good for me at all. But they think it is. So this is people doing something that they think is good for others and forcing it on them when it isn't. So it's an inappropriate application of goodness. Why does this happen? Unawareness. Yes. So if you want to be good in the world, be more aware so that you don't make this mistake of being inappropriately good. There's some really large charity organizations that have absolutely made things worse through their charities. Not that charity is a bad thing, but again, they lacked awareness to be appropriately charitable. So if we're going to be doing good, have the awareness of how to be good. And many think they've got to tell others how to be good. That's one of the worst ways of being good. Absolutely the worst way, because you are robbing others of the opportunity to figure it out for themselves. Share, on the other hand, share what works for you. Share what you find sensible. And somebody else can choose if that works for them or not. Because what works for you might not work for, or at least what works for me may or may not work for you. Yes? So this one simple awareness, the difference to share and not tell, this is transformative when it comes to doing good, because I can share freely. It's up to you. You get to choose. So simple things that really make a difference. So you're asking your question, I'm answering a question about the motivation and the link between motivation and awareness. Now I'm linking it, motivation, awareness, to goodness, so that I can get to be good, but I can get to be appropriately good. I'm not forcing, I'm not pressuring, I'm not limiting, I'm not doing things to others for others, which removes their options of learning. It limits them. I don't want to be conditioning anybody. No, never. So in my programs, I say, hey, you know, don't believe a word I say. Everything in the programs that I do, well, Beena does it with me. She's also facilitated the programs. We really focus on getting you to think things through, to figure it out. We provide you the tools. So that's a whole different deal. You know, so I'm not telling you how to build your house, but I am showing you the tools with which to build your house. Only you can build your house of awareness. Only you can build your house of self. Not me, not anybody else in the world. Only you. However, having the tools with which to do so, that's a whole different deal. Now, we actually share really potent tools. The tools that we share are tools with which you can create and build other tools. So they're like super tools, top level. Yeah. So it's very powerful. Again, awareness. You want to look at things from that abstract overview conception so that you have tools with which you can build tools. It's very potent, very potent, which means you can do anything. Yes.
Yeah. I really like your choice of words.
To get back to the motivation, is that not incredibly motivating to have this ability through your awareness to be able to essentially do anything without necessarily needing to remember stuff or needing to have the training? If I need it, I go and get it. It's that awareness that makes the difference. Very motivating. Very motivating.
It is.
Sorry,
Daniela. Indeed. So there are a lot of circumstances in our lives, and I've seen in my life as well, and in the lives of people around me as well. We have sometimes, we do confront ourselves with this discrepancy, a huge discrepancy between what we are saying, what we are feeling, and how we are acting, our behavior, right? So if I get it right from how you linked very nicely awareness and motivation, would you say that this discrepancy and lack of capacity of walking the talk, is it actually due to lack of self-awareness?
The doing of what? I didn't hear just before you said, is it linked to awareness? What was before that, the sentence?
Walking the talk.
Walking the talk. Yes, yes,
It's
absolutely.
an expression.
Absolutely linked to awareness. Absolutely. To walk the walk and to walk the talk, as you so nicely say. Yeah, it has to be. Because if we think we are doing something, but we're unaware of exactly what it is that we are doing, there comes a mismatch. And we see this all the time. You see somebody think that they are doing something, and what they're actually doing is something else. So yes, to
Yeah.
have that awareness, and to, again, we take, at least in way of impeccability, we take awareness very seriously. Obviously, it's very central. It's a very key point. It's the key point. But we go a little bit further, and the sophistication. Yes, Beena, hello, Beena. We make a point of checking and testing our understandings. So we go awareness, discernment, understanding, ADU, because it adds to you. We like mnemonics as well. So, but we want to take that awareness and then add discernment. And discernment here is looking at layeredness, going in depth, going in detail. You add those together, awareness plus discernment. Because awareness just on the surface, that's not enough. You can be aware, like a dog is aware, there's danger out there somewhere, but it doesn't understand the difference between an innocent passerby and a threat. So it barks every time. Yeah. So it lacks discernment. So we need to add those two together. And when we do, we get to understanding. We understand the difference between the passerby and a thief that's coming to rob us. Right? We get to know the difference. So the awareness is so key, but we have to go a little bit further. Furthermore, when it comes to new ways of being, new understandings that I have. So, okay, I said, wow, you know what? I feel like I've developed tolerance, for instance. How do I know this? I have to go out and test it. I have to go and check it and prove to myself that I've developed tolerance or acquired patience. Otherwise, it's just an idea. So awareness, you have to go a little bit further and not just have the idea that you understand something, that you know something. You actually have to go and apply it, and not just apply it, but test it. And you have to get the self-proof that it's there. Then only when I've proven to myself that I am thoroughly and I'm satisfied with this proof, then I can say, yes, I can now say I have acquired some measure of patience. Of course, there's always more with these things, but nonetheless, it's that application which is the deal. So the whole deal for me, always, all my life, was always about application. Yes, awareness is the objective, but without application, it's all meaningless. I know lots of people who know a lot of stuff, but they don't live it. They don't live it. For instance, like the classic example here is the psychology professor. They know all about psychology, but their personal life is a mess. It's like, dude, you're telling me all about psychology, how to think, all this stuff, but your life is a mess. Come on, what's going on here? Why? It's not that he doesn't know what he's talking about. He really does, but he doesn't apply what he knows. He believes because he knows it intellectually. It's all in his memory. He believes he knows it. No. Yeah. Your memory knows it. It's stored on your hard drive, but it's not in your operating system. You need to apply it, to use it. Then only do you have real use of it. What's the point of knowledge that's useless? Yes, Beena.
I was just, first, hello, Daniela, and hello,
Hi.
Syl. My question is about that when you were saying that awareness, and then we have to test it and apply it, not only apply it, but to test to apply it, and then prove it to ourselves. Where the motivation parts come in, and lack of motivation specifically comes in, because we are aware, we want to do things, but still we lose the motivation to do so. Or that things just jump in and creeps in, actually.
I would say it is in our tolerance for happiness or unhappiness or things not being quite right. So for me, I don't like it if I am the one that I have a low tolerance, I should say, for when I'm not efficient, when I'm not effective, if I'm causing others unhappiness or misery. Furthermore, forget that even, I have a low tolerance when my own life is full of stuff which aren't exactly joyful and happy. So I say, can I do better? Yes, I can. That motivates me. Yeah. So it's just how much you're willing to accept in your life. Am I willing to accept things as not being cool? and not being nice, not being happy, not being joyful. No, me not. I want maximum joy, maximum happiness. I want more. I'm just greedy that way, I guess. So it motivates me.
So what I get from what you were saying right now, it is that we need to have that personal, emotional, psychological connectivity, physical connectivity also to that concept, what we are really want to do that. Because otherwise it is just intellectual connectivity. I feel that, oh, I'm so inspired with all these talks on Facebook. Like you always mention that we all see tons of memes every day on Facebook, and we get inspired that this is so amazing, life transformative, and blah blah blah. And the second day, same us, same Facebook scrolling, same kind of inspiration, but nothing actually. So it requires that physical, emotional, and your psychological connectivity to that. And how these things happened actually, why we lose that.
Why we lose?
Because today, okay, my throughout, okay, just for example, I'm saying that I'm looking for self-improvement, self-growth, and every single day I got a lot of bits from Facebook, from other social media, and also internet. I'm getting information, more and more information, but when it comes to application, I got nothing. So how this
no motivation to apply. And this is a big problem. Human beings are the most adaptable of all creatures. And also, we are the creatures that are basically the ones that can tolerate suffering voluntarily the easiest. Now, we don't think of it as suffering because we are very adaptable, but we all make comfort with less so easily. So we just get into this habit of accepting less. And we don't think that we are missing out because we sort of made peace with the less in our lives. But when we really look carefully to say, do I want more, or am I really, truly, do I want what I have? Not am I okay or comfortable with what I have, but do I want what I have? And now we have to say very carefully, look at it in terms of energy expenditure. Am I willing to invest energy to get more? We tend to think, and it's a misbelief, that if we spend energy, we're going to drain our energy and get less. Now, typically that is so, yes, but we have to make this distinction between an expenditure of energy and an investment. So learning, real learning, especially when it comes to the learning that adds to your awareness, this is an investment, not an expenditure. So we have to overcome this resistance of energy expenditure and shift it into energy investment. So initially, I'm not motivated to learn something new because it's a lot of effort, it's a lot of energy. But at some point, I get to, after doing this a few times and investing my energy, whoa, I'm getting a lot for this energy. And now I get excited about investing my energy. In other words, I get motivated to learn. And this is the big shift. If we can get this point in terms of ourselves and this understanding, make the shift to see learning as exciting because it gets you more. It is more. There's always, you connect to the wonders, the magic, the awesome of the world. You increase your capabilities, your competencies, your abilities, your confidence. Everything increases. Of course, your appreciation, not just of the world, but of yourself. It all starts from changing the relationship between how you see learning to be a struggle and a pain in the backside and an effort to being a joy and an investment. That's the big deal. So the key trick here is to unlearn something. We've unlearned this idea that learning is work. Where do we get this from? From school. Do your homework and it's tests and your memory. It's a horrible business. What happened before we went to school? How did we learn? We learned joyfully every single day. We exhilarated in learning. How? What do you mean? What do you mean? I was learning before I went to school. Yes, every moment you were playing as a young child, you were learning. Yeah, and it was joyful. You loved it. You couldn't get enough of learning because learning and play were the same thing. And we lost that through our schooling. It's a horrible, horrible thing. It's really terrible. So all we have to do is connect back to play and learning and see the two as one and the same. So start playing, and through that start learning. See play as learning. Please, Daniela. Sorry,
Yeah.
Beena asked me such a
Yes.
powerful question. It motivates me so much. I don't mean to go on so long. Sorry.
No problem. We are taking a lot of wisdom from what you're sharing with us today. And I really like this idea of shifting our mindset towards an investment kind of way of seeing learning, right? And this is a really powerful practical tool, something that we can implement in ourselves as of today. So for anybody out there that is listening to us today, this is actually something they can really do, right? Another practical thing that worked for me when I'm losing track, when I'm low on my motivation, is to ensure that I surround myself with the right people, people that are having this level of motivation, that are spreading this virus of joy, how you called it, right? I mean,
someone like Daniela. Someone like Daniela. Yeah.
yes, that's another practical way of applying right motivation in our lives. And my next question is, what else? What other practical tools can you share with someone that perhaps is just starting their path of self-awareness, self-development, and so on? Something that they can put into practice as of now, as of today.
Connect with somebody like Daniela. Very simple.
Thank you.
No, very simple. But
like
you ask more.
Syl and Beena.
Yeah, but I'll start it, from the other way to put it in more formal terms. You said community is important. Yes,
Yeah.
surround yourself with people, but also that your community could be your friends, your family, Facebook. But want to add to that in this particular instance, we want to add particular people to our community. We also want to add structure, right? So this means that we want somebody who is motivated and invested in investing and sharing their energy with us. And this is where the idea of a personal coach comes from, right? I'm not that motivated. Okay, it's this personal coaching started with the personal trainers, personal coaches, for physical exercise, because if I do it on my own, it's like, I don't want to do it. But okay, the coach comes, come, up, yeah, give me 20 up, and they share their energy with you. Now, when you do, now that's physically, but we can also do this in the rest of our being. Yes. So when you have and you do a program like the program that you're offering for free right now that people can sell, the self-love thing, you are learning to enjoy and motivate yourself. But I'm going to leverage your energy, Daniela, and your structure that you provide, and this energy that you do as a coach that comes from doing the program. So this adds to me and gives me that little extra bump. And this is very, very, very powerful. So look carefully when you are doing programs of self-improvement, self-awareness, self-discovery programs, anything of that nature. Be sure who you are doing it with is somebody you connect to and gel with, and somebody who has your interests at heart, not theirs. Many of the coaches are all about just promoting themselves. Look how clever I am, look how wise I am. Listen to me, I'm a guru, I'm a teacher, I'm all this stuff. That's not who you want. They're about themselves. They're not there for you. That's why I say, find someone like Daniela. You are concerned about your participant. Yes?
Yeah.
That's it.
Definitely, 100%.
Exactly. You want to get them results. You want them to figure things out. You want them to grow. It's not about you being clever and you getting kudos and you getting admiration. No, none of that nonsense. You want it for them. So you take your energy and you share it with them. And this is the magic of collaboration, because we all benefit. Collaboration, 1 + 1 + 1 = more. At least that's my definition of collaboration. So this is really, really, really potent. And the structure is also important. Because if it's just all over, it's like, but if you have some kind of structure, okay, you do module 1, you session 1, lesson 1, whatever, and it's just, if there's a motivation, you come back, you got some report, it gives us that little extra bump of motivation. It just helps. It's just how our psychology set up. Yes, Beena.
Yes. Okay. Before we end, I just want to, because we are talking about the structured learning and growing, and as Syl actually elaborate and elucidate all these things, that what is involved in lack of motivation and lack of focus also. So my takeaway of all these things, because this is how we do all these sessions in our Zoom sessions, that okay, after sharing, we share our takeaways. So my takeaway is that. Lack of self-trust is the biggest thing, as in the for the lack of motivation, that when we don't trust ourselves, we get actually carried away with every meme, with everything on internet or free sites and everything. We get carried away because we don't trust our own self, that what is actually needed. So that lack of trust creates a lack of clarity of intent, and because we don't have that clarity, so we don't know that what we actually want in life. Everything seems so magical, everything seems so wonderful in the moment, but in the moment only. And then lack of energy, because we spent a lot of time, we actually just occupied ourselves in so many things at one time. It creates lack of energy, and lack of energy is the basic, as I understand from your discussion, you guys were discussing, that lack of energy is the basic cause of lack of motivation. And then, because we are getting so much bits and bits and also wonderful shining glittery stuff on internet available, it creates a bit of ego in us, and we say, oh, I know all, and know it all kind of a thing, which actually we assume, that we start assuming, okay, I'm just talking about myself, that we start assuming that I know a lot, because if I know a lot, I don't have any more space to learn more. I'm saying that. And when I'm saying that, how can I learn actually? And we start just living on tips. And living on tips actually creates a tap dancing, nothing more than that, on awareness. No in-depth real transformation. And then the lack of receptivity. Again, that's ego stuff when it comes into play. That lack of that ego nonsense, it inhibits me to receive fully and appropriately. Because I'm all full of, because I read so many books, because I read a lot of on the internet. I know all the terms, all the cool terms, so I know a lot. Yeah. So whatever a person is sharing, I'm not going to be receptive for that. Yeah. Daniela, whatever you are going to share, I know all the terms. I know all the terms and cool terms. So okay, I know much. And how can I learn from you? And how can you share what you have learned so far if I'm not receptive towards you? And which creates a lack of commitment at the end. Exactly. And I end up in the same loop, reading every meme and everything every day and struggling in my life. So this is my takeaway, what you guys are sharing. Thank you so much for sharing.
Fantastic takeaway summation, Beena. Really beautiful. A couple of points, just to reiterate, do somewhat of a repeat back here on what you said. That self-trust. If I don't trust myself, I'm looking outside of myself, and it's somebody else. I automatically think they know more, and so I just say, okay, this, and I take on. But if I don't trust myself to be able to figure it out, to learn and grow, I'm not going to make it my own. So I'm living somebody else's life, not my own. So I don't really learn and really grow away. It doesn't mean I can't learn from others. Of course I can, but I have to take what you are sharing with me and think it through to the end. Say, does this work? How does this work? Why? What makes it go A plus B plus C? How do I get to Z? And this is the thing. Then I have to say, I can't just believe you that whatever you are telling me is working. It may or may not. I've got to go and test it. So I have to apply it. This works. Oh, brilliant. Okay. So it's me. But if I have no self-trust, I don't even do that. And it never becomes my own. This is a huge point. And being receptive, one point added to that, Beena. It is to be receptive, to make this understanding that there might be things out there that I cannot imagine. Exactly. At this point in my awareness exist when it comes to learning and tools of being. This we find is the biggest obstacle with new participants. They they know they need more, but we typically, when we start sharing things, oh, I know, but well, it's kind of obvious you don't, because you're not living it, you're not feeling it, you're not living a life of joy and connectivity and understanding and awareness. So this is an obstacle we have to overcome a little bit, because they cannot imagine what more there is. But once you enter into that state of receptivity and you open up and say, oh, you know what, I have to assume there's more, because what I have now is not enough. When you do that and you assume there's more beyond what you imagine, then you start to notice and see stuff. Incredible. It's really, really incredible. So yeah, receptivity is a big deal. Very big deal. All right. So before we go, because you got to go, right, Daniela?
Yes, but I do have one last question before we end our session today. So perhaps in an effort to encourage someone that is on the path of self-awareness, but perhaps struggling with motivation, maybe what is one final takeaway, one word of encouragement from your side towards this kind of persons, perhaps even watching us as we speak?
Find one thing, one thing that is easy and simple, and hopefully also fun. But that's it. Just one thing that's easy and simple, and do that. One thing. The tiniest, smallest, simplest, easiest little thing that you can do that. Okay. And then do it again. So one simple thing. Daniela's offering a free course. I mean, really, I'm really like love that, you know, you're offering this. It's a big deal. It's not a simple thing. So one simple, easy thing. Do you think you can say sign up for it? Is that really simple and easy? I'm not saying do it, just to sign up for it. Okay, once you've signed up for it, can you read the first sentence in session 1, lesson 1, whatever it's called? Can you just read that first sentence? Can you do that? Yeah, it's pretty easy. Okay, can you read the second sentence then? It's pretty easy too. See, very simple. Do one tiny step at a time. That's the trick. We get overwhelmed and we realize that, hey, oh, you know, awareness, self-improvement, self-discovery. Oh my goodness, I'm such a mess. I know nothing. I'm so ignorant. I'm such a complete, total disaster. I have to change my whole life. And we get overwhelmed and we get depressed when we look at the big picture. Forget that. Do one tiny little thing. Oh, this is kind of fun. Oh, that's kind of cool. And the next thing you know, little by little, leads to leaps and bounds. We tend to assume learning is linear. In other words, learning is 1 + 1 + 1. No, it's not. It's exponential. It's 1 = 2, then 2 makes 4, then 4 makes 8. The next, you keep doing that. After 31 times, you're going to end up at 10 billion. Billion with the B. Yeah. So it's learning is exponential. The more you know, the more it starts to compound and connect, and then you just know stuff because it's all connecting. You don't have to learn everything. You start understanding the abstract moreness. So the key is get started. Get started with simple, and easy to do things, and trust after that. That's it.
Yes, just want to add one more thing to that. Just want to add one more thing to that, because of course this is the mantra really. If you just start following this one thing at a time, and a very tiny little thing, it creates wonders in your life, because you don't need to stress anything. For me, other than that's doing this one thing at a time, it's also that when we are here, we all who are into this group and in any other group and looking for courses, just having this intent that you are looking for something to improve yourself is enough to have trust in yourself, that you are a good person and you are willing to do this. Just trust in yourself, trust in your intent that you are looking for. This is the proof for me at least, that whoever is just right now looking at us or any other person or reading something on internet to improve themselves, this is the proof. And please just grab to this and understand that this is your intent.
Yeah.
And this is what all we need, that self-trust. Trust in your intent.
Yes. But do exactly. Do that one tiny, simple, easy. Find it, break it down into the smallest, tiniest, easy, and do something. And then do it again. and again, and that's it. Just keep repeating, and suddenly you're going to discover, people walk across countries around the world. Why do they do that? One step at a time.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Really simple, really, That's it. Break it down. All right. So what I wanted to say is we're going to be doing this next Friday again, same time, and we'll market in group. And again, people don't have to come onto the live because they'll see the video. I'll put it up as an announcement. I'll pin it to the top as well. But next time, I want to focus on Daniela.
Yes.
Okay.
I want to know all about Daniela.
Great. Okay, so then let's connect offline to settle everything that is to be settled for next session, right?
Yes,
okay,
yes.
thank
So
you,
we'll
thank you,
right
Syl.
here.
Thank you, Beena, for today. It was a real pleasure, to be honest, and real fun.
It was a joy.
Yes,
You ask such good questions. You get me all stimulated and motivated. And like I told you, if you ask me questions, earnest questions, it's a superpower. You pull so much. I don't need to talk so much, but you ask such fantastic questions.
Beautiful.
It was a joy. It was a joy. So, all right. So I'm going to end the live stream right here now. So, all right. Bye-bye.
Great. Talk to you soon. Bye, guys. Bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay,
Bye.
so the live stream is ended. Daniela?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. She dropped. Yeah. She will come. She will come.
Oh, maybe she had to go, I think, as well. So that was fantastic, Beena. That was fantastic.
Okay.
So
good.
a couple things I want Daniela to I just really enjoy her, the joy, right, Beena?
She is very pleasant and very comfortable energy.
Yes. It's quite marvelous. I really enjoy doing this, and I'm so thrilled that you came on. Don't go away.
I'm just going to eat something because I haven't eaten anything. So
it's really nice to do this with all the three of us. So I'm very keen to do this more. And what I'll do is I'll schedule it for next week. Beena.
I just love that with doing with her, because though she had to say a few things, and this is how it is, but she didn't have that push that, I need to talk. And she was so welcoming, so open, and so receptive. I just love that. And it was so comfortable to do that. This is the first FB live I have seen and experienced, actually. You can say that, with so much comfort and ease with her.
Exactly. Enjoy. Yes. That's the thing. That's what I so love.
No rush, no stress. No agenda, nothing. Just pure, like, okay, yes, this is where we are. We are about to share and love this.
Yeah.
Okay, going to eat.
All right.
Going to eat.
Okay.